really huge and so many cars that are flying around. But on the behalf of our team, I am sorry that you guys have to wait. But at the same time, I thank you for forgiving us and coming to really capture the happenings of Joram, a film which is very much, very close to our heart. We made it with a lot of blood and sweat, literally. Yes. And we are ready to take more and more stress and more pain in promoting this film, in making the audience aware about Joram and what it has within all of those visuals that Devashish Makhija, our director, has really put it out there. So again, before you ask any question, we are sorry for the delay, but also appreciate for you guys coming back. Thank you.
Hi, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you acted in a Tamil movie Anjan as a negative role.
Right.
Yeah, it was awesome. In your lineup in further movies, are you still continuing as a negative role or?
No, when the going gets tough, I know sometimes what happens. What's your name?
Suhas.
Swaz. So I love Tamil films. I love Malayalam films. It's not because I'm sitting here in South India. Everybody in India, everybody who's close to me knows how much I'm in love with South Indian unconventional films. Like very recently, a film that I have not seen called Garud Gabana Vishavahana. I made it a point that I'll watch it, whatever happens. You know, I have to watch this film, and this is a film which came long back. How come I could miss that film? So, because the independent cinema of South, not Malayalam, because they have been making it since a long time and they have a tradition of making those films. But in Tamil and Kannada, or say in Telugu, those kind of films are not frequently made. But when it is made, it completely dazzles us. I'm a big fan of Rishabh and Rakshit from here, and so many other voices coming out from this land is amazing. In Tamil also, I watch mainstream and parallel cinema. I would love to do more films, but not only negative roles. If the roles are varied, I would love to take a plunge into it.
No, actually, in your lineup, are there any negative roles for the coming movies?
Not right now. But in my lineup, there are some really interesting and colorful films and colorful characters that I have portrayed. Joram, starting with Joram, it is a world that people have never seen before, that Devashish Makhija, our director, has put it out there. And the character is something I can say very comfortably, that after Mr. Govind Nananish Akrosh or Jai Bhim from Tamil film industry, this is the first time we are dealing with that world and this kind of a character.
Hello, Devashish Makhija sir. Lakshmana here from Power TV. What is Joram sir? Because we had seen trailer, the intense and some village and city content were there. What it is meant for?
The film is us trying to raise a lot of questions. It's about that increasing divide between the village/jungles and the city. It's about us living these unsustainable lives in the city, like even in this room, the kind of technology, the kind of lights. I don't know the iron ore and bauxite in this mic. It's coming from somewhere. Someone is paying the price. Someone is losing something for us to gain this. So the film tries to ask these questions, but at its heart, it's a survival chase thriller. We've tried to make a film that's engaging, that's emotional, that's gripping, so that we can reel audiences in and place these questions in their minds and hearts. So it's an attempt to do that.
Is that real incident based movie or what?
Sorry.
Is that real incident based movie or what?
Really.
A film that tries to hold up a mirror to the world we live in is based on the real world, but it's not based on real incidents. It's a politic and it's a sociological theme that I return to many times in my work. I've lived in these areas, I've traveled these areas for almost 20 years. I've written a lot of stories, made a lot of short films around it. My first film, Unga, was around the same themes. So it comes from a reservoir of reality, but not specifically on any real instance.
Manoj, it's almost 3 decades for your career journey. So, once you look back, how happy you are today? Because we have seen struggling days of yours, right? You have worked for soap operas, then as a supporting roles. Now you are one of the most demanding actor in India.
Thank you very much for all the compliments. But it has been. You are right. It has been quite a journey. I was never not born with thick skin, but since the journey has been such a roller coaster ride, that in the process I developed a thick skin. Because the only thing which was always there in my mind was what I wanted to do. So whatever I have done was to empower myself so that I could be part of a film like Joram or Bhosle or Aligarh or Gangs of Possible, all of these things. And I'm so happy and thankful to God that He has really made it sure that I get all of what I wanted to do after 30 years. So, if it happens today, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying your love. I'm enjoying your respect. But, it's never too late if it happens, right?
You are busy with Hindi, OTT, and South Indian movies also, Telugu, Tamil, and all, but not in Kannada. We are expecting you to be in Kannada also. So when can we expect, sir?
You said the right thing. I could never get an offer which was far, exciting enough. But I've seen, lately I've seen a few of the film by Shakti Brothers. And I would love to be part of something like that. And if they don't offer me anything, I will try to make it in Hindi. Something, based on the process that they choose to do. Since the time I've seen Kantara, since the time I've seen few more films, I must tell you that Kantara completely blew my mind. It was just surreal for me. Kantara doesn't leave my mind. Like Garud Gamana doesn't leave my mind. There's so many other films, they don't leave my mind. And I always think, how come they are making they are connecting with their audience, through the folk tales, through the local stories. And why can't we do it? So I'm always looking out for stories which are the folk tales from, say, Bihar or from UP. So few of your films have really encouraged me, inspired me to not only to be part of those films in Hindi, but also if I could really produce them in Hindi. So even though I have not worked with Kannada movie, but Kannada movies lately have been really, really inspiring me quite a lot.
Since you are a NSD student and a theatre background, what made you to choose these kind of intense performance-oriented roles?
I love performance. I love it when there is a solid story. Just doing a mainstream film where there are only action sequences or some romantic sequences, and there is not much happening. Okay, when I don't get to see a character, when I only seeing a persona, I get bored. I have to have something very solid to play or perform.
Manoj, Lokesh from News First. I have two questions. Someone please translate. ಸರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಏನಂತಂದರೆ ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಆದಿವಾಸಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಂಥ ಒಂದು ಆದಿವಾಸಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿ ರಾಂಗ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೋರಾಟದ ಒಂದು ಕಥೆನೇ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಶಾರ್ಟಲ್ಲೇ ಟ್ರೈಲರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ನೀವು ಕೂತಿರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದ ಒಂದು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ
Sir, firstly, I'm a huge fan. Secondly, the question that sir is trying to ask you is the depiction of the tribals and the minority groups in that movie. There have been instances recently in the past where these cases have been come up against these groups and how there have been cases or allegations against them. So he wants to know your take on this, and also later in the description, there's also one scene of yours that is portrayed with these minority groups. So do you have anything to say about that?
Look, we are.
You also mentioned the Constitution Board, right? The Board of the Constitution.
No, I'm starting answering you, but Devashish will take it up because he's written and directed it. You know, we are part of a society which is quite varied. Okay, our problems are quite varied from any other country. But at the end of the day, a filmmaker chooses a story that moves him, chooses a story which he tries to write a story where few of the based on the questions that has been troubling him, he tries to answer those things through his story and the film. I think Devashish has been a very responsible filmmaker. He is somebody who's disturbed by certain complexities or certain injustice that has been happening for many years in the society. He's disturbed by the divide between the cities and the villages. He's disturbed by the gap which is between two classes. He's always been disturbed. So his stories that he writes are based on those questions, right?
The advantage and disadvantage of working with an artist like Manoj sir for 10 years is that he answers for you and has nothing else to say. He literally has embodied a lot of things that I feel and I believe over 3 films and 10 years. This particular film, when you're saying that there have been allegations against such minority groups, I just keep trying to check myself and I keep trying to tell people in the classes where I sing, and I'm very guilty about my privilege, and that's why I try to tell these stories, that these words are part of the problem, where we create something called the mainstream in which we are living, and then we say everyone who's not in the mainstream and his voices are not represented are either minorities or marginalized or voiceless. So that perpetuates that cycle of otherizing and pushing minorities and marginalized further and further into margins, because our mainstream is growing and we are constantly eating up the margins. So that the choice of these words also creates a lot of conflict inside me. So there is, I'm not an Adivasi, I am not a minority, and I carry the guilt of that, but I also try to be very conscious that I can never crack the insider perspective of an Adivasi. So a story like this is my attempt to just bridge that gap between that section whose rights and the things that they own are being taken away for something that only we understand as development. Their point of view or their take on the matter is not even asked for. Until we tell them that, okay, we have defined development and now you need it, so we will give it to you. But for that you have to sign up for what we decide as development. So it's very complex. So somewhere to just incept these ideas into the viewer by engaging, thrilling, hopefully entertaining, because this is a bitter pill to swallow. And when you want someone to swallow a bitter pill, you sugarcoat it. So it's really that attempt. It's an attempt to do that.
ಮನೋಜ್ ಸರ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಬಿಹಾರ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈನಾರಿಟಿ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ತುಂಬ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರ ಜೀವನ ಕಷ್ಟಗಳು ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಪಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಥ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಅಂತ ಅವರ ಜೀವನಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
Sir's question to you is, you come from a background, you are from Bihar, and Bihar has a lot of minority groups. So since you've grown up your entire life in Bihar and you've seen these minority groups yourself, does this somewhere down the line push you to be possibly taking up a role like this? Or was this something that you planned before, or was it this particular movie that pushed you to work towards a whole film that is centered on minority groups?
The actor's journey is very, quite contradictory, I would say. Since my childhood, I have seen the community, which you call minority group, living side by side, working in the fields. I have played with their children. I have been looked after by them. They were part of my household. So I have seen them from my child. And I can't even, I'm feeling very bad when I'm saying them. I'm feeling bad. But one thing has always disturbed me as to why the old men of the community is doing namaste to me. And that has always troubled me. When I was a child, I'm talking about that time, and that always remained with me. So yes, I have been disturbed by that kind of a tradition. I have been disturbed by the marginalization of that has been happening for so many years of certain communities. But I must tell you one thing. Bihar is one state where minorities decide which government should be formed.
Hi sir, Manoj sir, I am Ravi, ETV News ಇಂದ. ಸರ್ ನೀವು ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟರ್, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ವಿನ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ, ಜೋರಾಮ್ ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಗು ಜೊತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಓವರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಓಡೋದು, ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಟಫ್ ಸೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳಿದೆ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಅನಿಸಿದ್ದು ಏನು?
Translate. What was the most challenging sequence for you in film? My mother was from Bangalore and I have grown up in bits and pieces in Bangalore.
What was the most challenging?
His question was actually with the baby.
Okay, I missed
It's
you
very
one
correct.
second. Yes,
But
yes, please,
basically,
please.
with the baby, how did you go ahead with the challenging situations with the baby?
With the baby.
Yeah, because this is very action-packed. So you're moving around. And,
The answer will be a little longer, so just have patience.
Sure.
Okay. So in 2016, when Devashish Makija, has given me the script to read, I was completely blown away by the script. But the only concern that was with me is how we are going to shoot this film with 3.5-month-old baby. Because here my character is running, fighting with the baby who is always with him. And that was my biggest concern. Because somewhere I knew that babies are very fragile. Even a little bit of a very strong jerk can really put them in danger. So I had a very honest chat with him. I said, I'm completely with you, but you tell me how you are going to shoot the sequences with the baby. And assure me, and your idea or the technique should assure me that we are not going to put the baby in danger. Okay? And when the time came, and the shooting was just 4-5 months away, he started interacting with me and telling me what are the preparations that they are making to protect the baby while we'll be shooting the sequences. And that really assured me. He had 3 or 4 people only taking care of all the safety for the baby. So there were two girls, one guy. Consistently, they were always there with the baby and the baby's family. And now, whenever the baby was given to me for the shot, it became I used to go through so much of pain and so much of conflict as to how I'm going to perform. Because what happens that when an actor is performing in such a challenging film, actor can't afford to be away from his character. I have to be immersed in the character. I have to be there. I have to live that moment and also take care of the baby's safety. At times, I keep saying this in all my interviews, at times when I used to forget about the baby because I am so lost in my situation, in the situation, so lost in the shot. And when I should come back into my senses, you know, I used to feel the shivering, all through my spine, because there was this lively, alive baby in your hand, and you were not present. You were somewhere else. So yeah, I mean, it was all the sequences which involved the baby were the most challenging, and there are few sequences in the climax where the guns are going right, left, center. So the policemen are firing, the bad guys are firing, and this man is running with the baby in his hand. It was not a good situation to be in for any actor. There was one sequence where the blast was kept right very close to me, and the baby is in my hand. I put cotton in baby's ear also at the same time, because everything is so soft and fragile about the baby. If I am going to feel that sound of the blast, what will happen to baby? Because her membranes are very fragile. So those little things we've really taken very good care of. But it's still, when the baby is in your hand, and if I give it to you and tell you to take care of the baby for an hour, her mother is going for work or going to do grocery, you will be very uneasy and uncomfortable for that 1 hour, because it is somebody, the responsibility now is in your hand, right?
Hi sir, I can add to that. I can vouch for that, because once or twice, I mean, I stay so close to the actor and the camera that once or twice you have to hand the baby to somebody, and I was closest. He said, Dave, can you take the baby? I'm like, no, wait, I'll get somebody. I can't hold the baby. It's a very big responsibility, so I used to shake babies.
Hi sir, this is Prithvi here. Hello, this side. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. First of all, congrats for Joram, and hope it does awesome in the box office and the collection. And I have a very simple question. So, you from, of course, humble beginnings, and you've gone to win national awards like the Padma Shri and everything. So, of course, there's ups and downs in the career. But how do you deal with the successes and failures? And what's your advice for young generation people like us? Like, how do we deal with failure? How do we overcome them? Thank you.
I mean, the only thing that took care of me, even in my worst time, now I look back and the initial years in Mumbai was not very good, I must tell you, when I landed in Mumbai, because I was doing theatre continuously, and theatre took care of everything, okay, because I was very busy in theatre. I was not somebody who was doing one play in, say, 6 months or 7 months. I used to rehearse 2 plays at the same time. But when I went to Bombay, I didn't have work, didn't have money, nothing. There was with great difficulty, I was paying for the rent. Always what takes care of you is your passion that I have been talking about. The love for the craft, love for the profession, the acting. I'm still in love with it. I am still in love with what I do. And when there was a downtime, I was preparing for the next opportunity, because you can't afford to feel frustrated and depressed for a very long time. Yes, you'll feel down. Yes, you'll feel disheartened. Yes, you'll feel discouraged. But that duration can't be long. You have to get back to the drawing room and start working on yourself. That is the most important thing. Because tomorrow, if I get an opportunity, I should be ready to make the most of it, right? So you have to be like a sports person, even after injury, when you are rehabilitating, you have to, they go for rehabilitation, right? But what is the rehabilitation of the actor? When there is an injury or there is a bad time, it's by working on yourself, so that when there is a bigger opportunity, you are there to really use it to your advantage and make the most of it. So that has been my mantra. I just hope that it works for everyone. But I hate giving advices. But this is all I can say.
Manoj,
Hi, sir.
Manoj sir, hi, I'm Sarah from India Today.
Hi,
My
Sarah.
question to you is that in one of the articles in your interviews, I read a very interesting thing that you said. You said that usually you extensively prep for any of the projects and roles that you picked up. But for this movie, you said, you just mentioned in one of the questions as well, that you grew up with this community in Bihar. So when you were doing this movie, there was a certain element of experience that you had. So if you could share that part with us as to what really helped you on Joram, given the fact that you spent time in and around the community in Bihar.
Sarah, right?
Yes.
So, whenever I went back to my village and when I was also growing up, the one thing that I have seen in their eyes is the steeliness, as if eyes don't have any emotion left in them. Okay? And that bothered me. That bothered me so much. And I always could remember the eyes. And little yellowish eyes. That means undernourished. Okay? Now, how to achieve that? You can't achieve your eyes through makeup. You can achieve little bit of it or half of it just throwing in yourself into your character or into the situation. And that is why, the whole experience of Joram was very, very special, but also excruciatingly painful because, it was all there. It was happening to my soul, it was happening to my heart, and all the time it was happening. There's a co-actor of mine called Amrinder. He played a character called Jackson, right? Samson. And he was telling me just now, when I was shooting with him for some other film, that I could not come and introduce myself to you because you were always sitting in one corner very quietly on a chair, and most of us found it very difficult to approach you. But it was basically what he was trying to say, that I didn't want to take chances by being somewhere else, away from my character. I didn't want to take that chance. I wanted to achieve those eyes. In few sequences I did, but I'm very critical of my work. So when I saw it, I said, in a few of the sequences, I may not. But yes, I wanted to achieve those eyes. The eyes of those workers in the field, eyes of my tractor driver, eyes of that household work that a woman or a man used to work in my house. I still remember those eyes, and the eyes which bothered me since my childhood.
The next question, the second one that I have is for the both of you. I read about the unforgiving heat that you all shot in, that is in the iron ore in Jharkhand, and I also read that maybe this is one of the first films in our industry where you all have shot in such extreme conditions. If you can share the experience of how difficult was it to shoot in 51, 52 degrees?
Oh.
It is difficult to take a crew of 300 people into not the heat, because yes, we spoke about it, but also while speaking about it, I'll speak for both of us, we were conflicted because it's a privilege that makes us suffer in that heat, because there are a lot of people who have to live in that heat and they don't have a choice, so they don't find it hot. But we come from privilege, so we start saying that, this is so hot and this is so difficult for us. Yes, it was hot, but it was also inside an iron ore mine, a functional working iron ore mine, and that was the harder part. Because in the iron ore mine, when you see the images in the film, they're there in the trailer as well, it looks like a red wasteland. That red is not red mitti, it's rusted ferrous oxide. Because the land has been eaten away to a point where it's now just iron ore, it's not earth. So those conditions were difficult.
Quickly, since it's such a universal subject, at least in India, we have to talk about, why is it like, was it a conscious decision to have it released only in Hindi, or will it be in multiple languages on the OTT platform for others also to enjoy the performance and also to understand the film in a much more bigger sense?
But the fact that it's releasing worldwide, and it traveled all the 5 continents when it did festivals, and we did the top festivals in every continent. And the OTT space, I mean, at least for me, what it's done is I've been able to access Kannada, Telugu, Malayalam, and Tamil films, which I wasn't able to do in the past, because now we've gotten conditioned to reading subtitles so effortlessly. Till about 10 years back, subtitles used to get in the way of the film watching experience. So yes, it's a Hindi film, but it's not really a Hindi film either, because there's a dialect that we have created, borrowing from elements from all the dialects of Jharkhand, tribal dialects. So somewhere it's a dialect film, it's not really a Hindi film. And we are hoping that it's the subtitle experience that now is so easy. I'm hoping it is, because it has become easier for me to watch a film with subtitles and be able to access that world no matter what language is falling on my ears.
And also what happens is, since it's not a typical mainstream film, though it's a thriller in its own way, what happens, that kind of a budget, allows and gives them a freedom to really dub it in many languages, okay? And I would say that I will request the audience to go and watch this film. This is not hard to understand, because if this will be a little difficult also for the Hindi audience, because we use the local language, a local dialect, okay? What is working in this film is what's happening on the screen. On the screen, the baby and the father, they run, running away for shelter, for safety, is going to be understood by everyone. That way it's a very easy film. When you watch the film, you'll understand and agree with me that this film doesn't require language. This cinema itself becomes the language.
Okay, hi sir. Yes, this side. So we have been talking about passion and motivation in life, right? So my question is that, so sometimes having role model helps. So who do you look up to in life, and how have these people inspired you and impacted your life?
Okay, there are many. Starting with my father. I've never seen, a finer gentleman him. But one thing, what I have learned from him is never to get bogged down by the odds in life. And he has brought up 6 children, okay? And he has given education to all of them and made them, go out and do whatever they wanted to do. There was no restriction. Though I come from a village near Nepal border in Bihar, but there was no imposition on us of his wish. He always wanted us to be to be a graduate first, and then go ahead and explore the world according to your wishes. This is something I have learned from my father, and that has really opened up many things for me. So, and then there is my theatre teacher, Barry John, who really, because he was somebody who I have never seen really sitting down and chilling. He's been somebody who's always been working. If he's writing a script, reading, or sketching, or teaching, I've only seen him working. So these are the people I always kind of looked up to.
Alright, I think a lot of questions have been answered, and I believe, thank you Manoj and thank you Devashish for answering all the questions. And a big thank you to the media people out here for staying back, for being a part of Joram press conference here in Namma, Bengaluru. Thanks to each one of you. Let's have a quick round of applause.
For the media.
For the media, of course. Alright, thank you so much once again for joining us. I'm sure that there are a lot of plans out there. 101 interviews have been scheduled, and Manoj and Devashish, I understand there are few more commitments lined up for the evening here in Bangalore. So on that note, I think we will wind up the press conference. Thank you, the wonderful team from the media from in Bangalore, for joining us for the press conference. Thank you.